unbelievable. And the fact that he wasn't suspended is even more unbelievable, because I think in today's hockey, he probably would have been out for a half a dozen games. You know, when you have your best player, a 60-goal man, able to come down and deliver a vicious, and it was a vicious elbow, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he had one intention in mind, and that was to knock that guy out of the game.
You know, really sending a message that our star player really wants it bad, and it was a bit of a cheap shot, but yet, you know, after we find out, he got chopped a couple times, but it was something that you could see that Bury wanted to take this team a little farther than just the first round.
That's the way, Black. That's the way, Black. Make them pay, boy.
When we look back and you reflect about individual players and the contribution that they made, Sergio Momesso, there was a guy the fans loved to boo. I mean, they used to ride this big guy through the entire season. My heart used to go out to him. I know he tried, but things just didn't bounce the right way for him, but he scored a big overtime winner. And once he did that, when his name was introduced before the start of the game, everybody applauded, and it was like, boom, he had taken that jump to that next level, and the fans loved him. And well, they should. He played well in the playoffs.
Serge was a guy that was a competitor, and one thing he did have is that he had a bad temper, and he could change the game just with his bad temper. He wouldn't always take bad penalties, but you could see when things weren't going well, he'd start boiling in the dressing room, and he was about ready to snap on someone. And so he kept everyone honest in that aspect.
I think the opposition, when they played against Momesso, they didn't want to wake him up. You know, let the Giants sleep. Because when he really got motivated and was determined to play a strong physical game, he was as good as anybody in those days. He could punish those defensemen on the forecheck. They didn't like to be hit by him.
After we got past Calgary, I think from then on, every game, it was a different player, or one or two players that stood out in each game. Not always your star player like a Bury or a McLean. It was someone else coming up huge. One night it was Greg Adams. One night it was boy, you go down the list, Brett Hedican. It could be Dave Babbage. Players that you weren't expecting to make that beautiful play, but they made it and found a way for it to happen.
Pat Quinn, you know, he's a player's coach. And the one thing that Pat Quinn demonstrated, certainly in my view, is he instilled confidence in his players. If they made a mistake, they weren't afraid that they were going to be put down at the end of the bench. He'd put them right back out there in a difficult situation. And nothing builds confidence better than that, when a coach believes in you. And the players knew that about Pat Quinn.
We were rolling and just really set ourselves. We were kind of unstoppable at that point.
The series was much easier than people expected it would be. The Canucks won it in 5 games. Dallas only won once in Vancouver. Once a team gets on a roll, and McLean was playing so well in goal, that they just think one game at a time and just get rolling.
In over the line, Modano shot. McLean made a fine save on that rush by Modano. Now a breakaway for Pavel Murray. Coming in on goal, right in. He scores! Pavel Murray! It's 4-1. That should do it.
I think that we believed in that. You know, once we got kind of playing well, that it's just a belief. It's an inner belief, inner confidence that you just can't be stopped. And they were a good team, but we were just on a roll at that point.